And I think it was one of the motivations for the report as well, because it shows if 80% of the women prefer crypto over fiat, and if 35% have more than 75% of their savings in the space, then clearly this is money for them. And it's money for more and more and more people. So a part of my, I guess, my rebellious side, but also an intelligent side, right? You can't just hit them in the face. You have to show them and tell them and show, charts and percentages and show it in a way that is not confrontational, but about curiosity. And I've worked with incumbent banks, I've worked with all these institutions. It's just a matter of showing them that different perspective, or how it can take away red tape, or how you should join the revolution before the revolution comes to you, right? Just the framing, right? I have a saying that's the whole idea of first to market has been changed to first to articulate. If you're
hold on. Don't just be dropping that gem and then not give us a moment to process.
In an open and global economy, the first to market has been changed to first to articulate.
What I love about the report is the perspective of women globally. Gem and I came out with a report and recently, just kind of assessing. Okay, you're shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, of course, it's in my report.
And so, with those findings, one stat that stands out in my mind is that with respect to the crypto curious, women are 57% more crypto curious than men at 43%. And your report, I think, reinforces that, because the perception more often than not is women are not in the space. And we're not only in the space, we're running. And Marina is a testament to that. The women that featured in that report are a testament to that. And we're combating this perception that we're not in the space. And I just am so happy that, we get to have this conversation to prove to the people out there that are doubting, and also the women that are watching, Marina, that might think, I don't know if I'm able to get involved. I don't know if I'm, I have what I need and so forth. And you said sats earlier. I want to call that out, because for folks that don't know what Marina was referring to when she said sats, she's talking about Satoshis, which are fractional Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin up to the 8th decimal, I believe. And as a result, the barrier to entry for investing in crypto, you got $50. If you could do your nails, you could buy a drink, you can invest in crypto.
Indeed. You can do it.
So what are you telling your daughters? Like, how are you, what's the conversation home about the world that we're living in, where it's at, but ultimately where it's going?
I think I can't tell them. I can just show them, right? You have to lead by example. You cannot shove a conversation to people, and it's the same with grown-ups and with kids. They're in school studying a lot. Cryptocurrency is not their day-to-day bread, but they hear me speak. They hear me be excited about the topic, and they hear me look at charts and ask questions and interview and be with you on this. And so it really, for example, when I got selected to be a woman of color in Congress and speak at the blockchain delegation, that got me serious points. That was
they were like, oh, my mom's a boss. Okay,
yeah, she went and spoke to Congress, right? And so that got me some serious points.
But let's talk a little bit about some of the conversations in the in government about crypto. Hester Pierce is, been a tremendous resource, one of the most crypto-friendly political individuals out there. She's introduced the safe harbor policy, I believe it is. And I think in that policy, there's like a 3-year grace period associated with giving organizations in the DeFi space just time to kind of, build out their business before, any regulation or so forth are introduced to the mix. That's an example of, I think, one of the more progressive leaders in the government space. But then on the flip side, you have, I think, the chairman of the SEC, who's like, crypto is considered a commodity. Bitcoin is considered a commodity versus a currency. So that designation enables it to function like gold, versus, a dollar or a peso.
Well, if Ecuador has its way, we might have different conversations. If El Salvador and Ecuador and Argentina and all these other countries that are, deciding how the designation will be, it's a global conversation, and the U.S. is staying behind, and that is worrisome. So I think we have to step up our game, and that's why we have Caitlin Long, who's amazing and so thoughtful, and she's the first charter bank that's crypto. I mean, she's really moving the conversation. Miami has pushed forward much of its legislation to be crypto friendly, Bitcoin friendly.
Shout out to Mayor Suarez, because the mayor, he's out there doing this like whole crypto thing. Like this is, Miami's about to release their own coin. Really, like an actual like governance token, which is mind-blowing, because again, in the vein of at the state level, the level of like progressiveness that we're starting to see. So how is that landing for you?
So I love it, and I worry. I love it in the sense that I think internally you learn a lot, right? Like I was talking to an international corporation that's state-owned and in Brazil, and they are working with blockchain and figuring out things internally. But for example, instead of having 100 bank accounts because of all the different vendors, they've reduced it to 10. Instead of having to do all these notarized documents, they streamlined so many things because they're utilizing the technology to make it super simple and straightforward. So they're getting rid of red tape. They're getting rid of, all the amounts. Like I think their collection and billing department was reduced to 1/3. They've been learning so much, and they're figuring out whether they should have an internal coin or a token. I think more token, so they can within the law department speak to the marketing department and then speak to the one. So they're working it together, and I think a lot of larger corporations that are multinational could benefit from internal coins, if you will, or internal, so that you're not stuck and that you're reducing the friction within departments in your own large corporations that are global. So even there's a huge space.
And it's fascinating that in spite of the innovations that we've seen that the internet has presented, there's sort of this like almost Luddite type of like people are like, being very slow to adopt the change. But the fact of the matter is that like, it's not like a matter of adopting it, it's already here. And, when you look at countries like, we were talking about El Salvador, which is recognizing Bitcoin as a legal tender, which is fascinating because for a number of reasons, but also because if you look at what the currency in El Salvador was, it was the US dollar. And not that that's being replaced per se, but now you're introducing another legal tender, Bitcoin, which, is kind of changing the dominance of the US dollar, which I imagine from an, the debasing of the value of the currency. I mean, that's one of the implications of decisions like that being made.
They're a dollarized economy, so it's interesting. I mean, I love that Bitcoin will be legal. I think that there's a lot of small print items that are actually not positive for Bitcoin and not positive for the people because it's making retroactive, and you have to accept it, and you like it has a lot of restrictive points so far from what I've read, and so that worries me because it's not just accepted. It's like and this and this and that, and so the fine print is getting in the way of the financial freedom that we are espousing. So I want to be careful. Like I completely support this, but I also worry that it might become a PR disaster for Bitcoin because of all the restrictions that are being added to the way that it has to be managed or accepted. And traded. And obviously there are experts here already in the space. Bitcoin Beach has been doing this for a long time there. There's a community of Surftown that, you know, has been doing sats and selling and buying and doing a lot in the space. In fact, the only Bitcoin ATM in Central America is based there. So they've been in the space for a long time and they know what they're doing. It's not like this will be new to El Salvador. I would just say, before we just throw all of our support, just be careful the fine print.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, again, right, the discourse, right? The headline is what people see. People talk in sound bites. So, you know, if nothing else, in us having people like you on the crypto couch and the work that we do at CryptoTutors, we want to empower people to do their own due diligence. You know, we want to empower people to educate themselves, take the initiative. To your point around reading the fine print, you have to make sure that you understand, you know, what you're getting yourself involved in. And one of the challenges is that, especially with the market fluctuation and the volatility, is, you know, people, they don't have the appetite to ride the wave, you know, like you were mentioning before, hodling. Oh, you about to jump in and say something. I feel like it's gonna be important. You go.
I think that there was a point where they were saying that they were going to be accepting taxes in Bitcoin. And then how do you, if it's volatile, then how can the government have their funds be stable, or at least know what's happening for next year if because of volatility? And again, these are the fine print. I am still learning. It is one of the things that I read. But, you know, it worries in the sense that it has to be thought out, or just at least like make it like the sandbox. Like, let's see how it goes before you start regulating it, exactly how people will receive it or not, and how they have to or not accept it. That's where I worry that by being so restrictive or so demanding, that we're going to create more problems than solve problems.
Marina, your report, which I will cite again for everyone, which is the Global Report on Women, Cryptocurrency, and Financial Independence. Read that report. We're going to make sure in the comments we drop the link to the report. We would love to hear your feedback. We'll make sure that you have all of Marina's handles so you know how to connect with her. You are a phenomenon within the space. I'm so grateful to have shared the couch with you today. To be able to introduce people like you to the community is so dope.
I am
so
learning.
awesome.
I am just trying to listen. I don't know the exact regulations everywhere. I just know that we need to listen more, and we need to put ourselves in their shoes before telling them they're wrong and telling them it's all off. I did hear from people about that, like, how are you going to protect them? How are you going to protect them? Well, this report is to show you that they're not afraid of volatility. They prefer this than not having options. The women are empowered, they feel strong, independent, and for the first time in a lot of cases. So if we can just show you something that you hadn't thought about, then you'll be much less worried about protecting me from something that I'm telling you I don't need protecting from. So give me the space to fail, give me the space to learn. I'm a grown-up too, and I'll do my homework, and I'll have Lisa to teach me, and we'll have all these groups to support each other, because that's where we're really strong, with the DAOs and the Telegram groups, and, you know, helping each other answer questions. It's still small enough a space where you still know who to call and who to ask questions if you're not sure about something, or you're trying to understand stable coins or NFTs. It's still early. We are pioneers. So join the revolution and be helping us change that.
I'm so happy. Speaking of Telegram, I pulled up and slid in our little Telegram group. I was like, Marina, I need to know you. Like, what's up? You need to tell your story on the crypto couch. You need to make sure that people know the work that you're doing and what a phenomenon you are. And also, Marina, introducing more women to women in the space, I think, is so critical to move the needle with respect to our representation. So thank you for that.
And that's why I'm doing this in Spanish as well. I'm working really hard to make sure that this is inclusive and, in bilingual as much as possible, and, supportive of wherever you are in the trajectory, if you're already down the rabbit hole or just starting out.
I tip my hat off to you. I'm grateful that I got the privilege to share you with the CryptoTutors community at the
Thank you for inviting me.
This girlfriend, look, this is your first appearance, okay? We'll be having you back, okay?
Thank you, Lisa.
There's so much more for us to dig into with respect to the breadth and knowledge and wisdom that you have to share. But I just, on behalf of our viewers, on behalf of the CryptoTutors team, want to say thank you for all that you've done and continue to do. And however we can support you, we got your back. Make sure you give her all the love. Marina, I started the conversation out with like, yo, you don't even know yet, but just start giving Marina all the accolades and all the flowers that the kids say. Now you know why.
Thank you, Lisa.
Visit CryptoTutors.com to gain access to our free e-learning course called Make Money While You Sleep. Just answer our 8-question survey and you'll gain instant access to a course that was previously $1,000.